bet you thought you weren't going to see me posting any videos on here for a little while. I've had my baby girl, a beautiful, beautiful little girl called Athena, and I'm on paternity leave. And I think I'm doing my missus head in because she's literally sent me out fishing. So, here I am, Shingle Street. Beautiful day, absolutely beautiful day. High tide is around about 9:30 today, and it's now 25 to 7. Look at the sea state, look at the conditions. We've got a real non-existent westerly blowing through. Do you know what I thought I'd do today? No more light line fishing for sole or anything. I thought I'm going to come out, fish the flood, down the other side a little bit here. So high tide, like I say, is at 9:30. I'm going to try and get you some Thornback Rays. And then while I'm doing it, I'm going to try and give you some hints and tips of how to catch these Thornback Rays. As you can see, 2 rods. Both rods fishing different rigs, different baits. One of them is not the most conventional bait you'd expect for Thornback Rays, but I'm going to try and see if I can get a fish out on it, because I know it does work. I know they love this bait. It's just a case of whether or not we can catch one on it. We'll see, but it's perfect. A little bit of rain forecast for later, so we'll see how it goes, but this is, at Shingle Street, as good as it gets. It really is. Not a massive tide either. I don't like fishing down here in big tides for the rays. So in reality, everything is spot on and everything is perfect. All we've got to do is just try and catch some fish. Rods have been out about 10 minutes. I'm going to reel them in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Thornback Rays, I like to leave my baits to soak a little bit longer than I normally would. But yeah, stick with me. Let's see if we can get some Thornback Rays down here at Shingle Street on this beautiful July day. Well, I'm literally, watch my right hand rod is all I'm going to say. I'm baiting up my left hand rod. This is still the first cast on that right hand rod, and that has gone slack and it's pulled over a couple of times. Now I'm using the dongle on that. I was just going to show you later, but I'm using the dongle on it, so it's a case of sitting back and waiting. But if that goes one more time, there we go. There we go. That could well be a fish. This is first cast, and this is on the non-conventional bait. Let's see if that goes again. That's pulling in my hand. Yep, fish on. Well, there we go. First cast. Unless it comes off, of course. That could be a Raymond. Beautiful. Literally baiting up that first rod to put it back out again. And I looked up and this had gone slack. And it's pulled over a couple of times. And like I say, this is the bait which you don't really see many people use for rays. That's definitely a ray. Fantastic. Right, okay. Don't think it's very big. These dongle rigs are something else. Nah, it's not that big. Let's pull them back though. Oh, that was a little thumpy thump. It's definitely not a hound. There is a chance of a hound today. Where are you, little fella? First cast. And on the bait, which I didn't know whether or not we'd catch anything on. Where are you, little fella? That's not bad. That is not a bad Raymond to kick off the session with. Lovely. Absolutely flipping Fantastic. First cast. Look at that. Hey? Beautiful fish. They really are beautiful fish. Dongle, you can probably see the bait there. It's ragworm. Dongle's loaded up with rag. But look at her. Beautiful. First cast business. Could be on for a good session today. I'm going to get this one back. Get these baited up and I'll show you the baits and the rigs I'm using. That was a heck of a start. Anyway, back to what I was going to do. Left hand rod. Grays. PZ match. 7HT turbo. 18-pound line. 80-pound shock leader. Down to a pulley pennel. Fairly long. 1/0 chinu on top. 3/0 on the bottom. And on that, I'm just using squid. Riding with a little tiny bit of sardine. The sardine which I took out of my freezer last night. I knew I had some in there, found it, thought I might as well use it. So this is going to be the left hand rod all day. I'm going to get this out and I'll go through my second rod with you. And for the rod that just had the fish, my ever faithful M4 GT unground original 7HT blue, 18-pound line, 80-pound shock leader, and this is on a dongle. And on that dongle, I've just got 2 or 3 king rag wrapped together and put on there. Now, ragworm is not a bait you'd normally associate with ray fishing. Normally with rays, people use fish baits, people use squid. Ragworm is not really a conventional bait which people would go to, but I've just proven to you, first cast, it works, and it works bloody well, especially on the East Coast. So if you're on the East Coast and you want to catch rays, get on the ragworm. I'm going to get this out, leave it to soak for another 35 to 40 minutes, and I'll come back to you in a minute and we'll talk Thornback Rays. It's getting hot. Had to take the jumper off. That's both rods out now. Second rod didn't go as far as I want. I sort of fluffed the cast up, but it's still out there 60, 70 yards. Which is more than enough for rays down here. Keep an eye on them rods while I talk to you. I've got a habit of keep looking at my rods. I'm sure with a dongle on, they'll hook anyway, so we'll notice it. And with the other one, that'll either just pull over or slack line if the fish is hooked. So rays, Thornback rays. They are the only species of ray we really get round this coast. Starting to see blondes every now and then off the coast. I'm sure I've lost one off the beach a few years ago. That's a totally different story. That was up Orford Ness. But Thornbacks. Best time for Thornbacks on the East Coast, April time through to October, November. You can catch them all year, but they're not really a viable species to target. You can come down here in December if the weather's nice. If you want to, sit on some fish baits and try and catch them. But they're not normally around the numbers. It looks to me like they may have returned at the minute. It's a good call to come out today. It really is. Now, rays are bottom dwelling fish. They love sitting on the bottom. As you can see, they're flat. They roam around, and normally, if you get one, you can normally find a pack of them because they sort of shoal up a load of males with a female. So if you get one, get a bait straight back out, and you may well get another one straight away. Rig-wise, anything will catch rays. Pop-ups, obviously not, because they won't come too far up in the water. However, if you're fishing pulleys, up and overs, pulley droppers, dongles, which are pulleys anyway, you should well find them. And I always prefer, really, to be honest with you, thumb size to a little bit bigger than my thumb size baits. I don't like going massive baits for Thornback rays because there's no point. They like small baits. A lot of people say use plain leads because they get put off by the grippers. Never found it, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's just a myth. A lot of people do like using plain leads though. You see them down Cheswell fishing for blonde rays, and they'll use the plain leads and they have great success. But round here, fixed grippers do the job perfectly well. And they are a beautiful fish to catch. Every single Thornback ray has its own distinct markings. So they are absolutely beautiful. And they do get quite big. If you can get a female when she's ready to drop in sort of April, May time, drop her purses, you can be looking for £15 rays. Biggest one for me down here is just over £10. Send them to £15 off here. Massive fish, absolutely slab of a fish. But never had one myself that big. Don't think it's going to happen today because the big females, they've come and they've gone. It's now July time. You'll have all the smaller rays hanging around. And like I say, with the weather the way it is, I think they've come in and I think they're going to be here today. Even if we only have the one. I've caught one and I've shown you that it works. It really does. Distances for rays. You haven't got to be a big caster to find the rays. I've caught rays around the East Coast bass fishing. And I'm talking 15, 20 yards out and that bass rod folds around, you got a ray on. Don't get me wrong, that ray that I just caught was probably 90 to 100 out. Really wound up a cast, whacked it out there. So it may be a case of distance today. Sometimes it is, don't get me wrong. There's that old saying, if you cast in short, you can miss the fish at distance. The fish aren't always at distance, but if you can get distance, sometimes that little few extra yards can make the difference. But we'll see. Left hand rod's probably about 60 yards. Right hand rod's probably about 60 yards this cast. They could be everywhere here today. Or that might be the only one. Who knows? Who knows? But we've had one. And that is the purpose of the film. So, box ticked. I named that ray Athena after my daughter. It's like a carp, isn't it? Athena. Anyway, rods are fishing. It's warming up, hence why I got a t-shirt on. I won't be going into a jumper no more. And the rods are out. I'm going to give them 40-minute soaks because that first cast I cast in with the fish baits, that wasn't even touched. I squeezed it, there were still juices coming out. It's not a big tide today. When it's not a massively hard running tide, you can leave your baits out a little bit longer. Bigger tides wash the flavour out of the bait quicker. But then rays will find it. And another tip for rays is, if you get a bite, sit on it. If you see that rod go over, fold over and come back, don't hit it straight away because them rays will sit on the food. They'll play with the food. They'll pull it. Give it a couple of minutes. If it keeps going, then hit it. Or if it just slackens off and your line drops to the floor, wind in and hit it. Or if that rod tip just goes round, which it sometimes does with rays, that will just keep going and going and going where they've got the power and they've steamed off. Wind down and lift into it. Obviously with the dongles, not hitting it, just wind and slowly, slowly, slowly until you feel the connection and lift because it's a circle hook. Beautiful. Shingle Street has produced. Let's see if we can get a few more. Well, it's now coming up to about 8:30. That's an hour before high tide. And since that first cast ray, it's been very quiet. Well, I've got another juicy ragworm bait going out. Look at that. I'll show you in a little while how I bait up my ragworm on a dongle and how I bait up my sardine and squib. Probably do that over high, slack water. But at this moment in time, it's time to get another one of these little bad boys out. Big juicy rag baits. Work first cast. Let's just see if we can pick up another one. One more will do me nicely. It's a warm sunny day, but the conditions, as in sea state and everything else, are absolutely spot on. Some more people down there just turned up. Apart from that, we're the only ones here, which is very surprising. But then again, it is a weekday, even though it's kids' half term. Right, that's two more baits out. Another 40-minute soak time. 40 minutes, like I say, is what I'm using now for my soak times, mainly because the baits are coming back untouched and there's still a lot of flavour and a lot of juice in them. You're squeezing them, and the flavour's still there because these tides are small. It's not washing it out. High tide's coming. The ebb is what fishes better here normally. So, we could be in for some fish then. But who knows? We're here. We're giving it a go. Let's see what happens. I was literally sitting there about to do a baiting up demo for you then. And my right hand rod has gone slack, and I've just tightened up into it. And it's now a case of seeing if that rod tip goes any more. That's got the big rag bait on it again. It's just coming up to high tide. So I really wouldn't have thought I'd have seen anything now. There's something there. I can see that keep moving. Yeah, there's something there. I think. Yeah, there's a fish on. That is a fish on. Nice. There's some weight to that. Imagine if that's a stinger. I've heard of stingers coming from down here before. But this. There's some definite weight on that. It's not really doing very much though. It's not pulling back yet, so I don't know if it actually realises it's hooked. I would say that could well be another ray. Whatever it is, it's coming in very slowly. I've had no pullbacks yet, just some weight. Now there's some pullbacks. There's a fish there, 100%. Don't think it's as big as what I thought it was before, mainly because I think it's been hugging the bottom. But yeah, again, this is on the big rag bait. Like I say, just before high. Where are you? There she is, another little fawny. Not the biggest, but it's a ray. Get in on the dongle. Right in the corner of the lips. Blooming marvellous. Ragworm doing the do again. Look at that, eh? And look at that hook hold. Absolutely perfect. What a beautiful, beautiful fish, eh? Spot on. Perfect. I'm going to get this one back and get another bait out. To be honest with you, while I was doing the bait up, I did think I'm going to leave that other rod out and see what happens. And it did happen. Ray number 2, both on ragworm as well. I'm just going to show you how I bait up my squid and fish baits for rays. Little piece of sardine, not very big at all. And all I do, got my prongy thing from Seaglow. Baiting needle, twin baiting needle, holds a bait like that. So you get your bit of fish. You then get a little piece of squid. Squid goes on the back of the fish, leaving the flesh side out. Then all we do with this is wrap this together, making sure you don't really mask the fish, because you want the flesh side of the fish out a little bit to keep those juices going while you're fishing. If you cover it up, obviously, you got to think about it. If you completely cover the flesh side and you do that, the problem is that you won't be getting as much scent in the water, because that squid will literally hold against the flesh of that sardine and it won't let anything out. And then take my Frio through the squid. That's why I put the elastic on first, because you put it in and it holds it in place. Then all you do, well, what I do, not what you do, everyone has their own way of doing things, literally band that to the hook. Making sure you pay attention to the eye of the hook, because the eye of the hook is what will turn. If you do that, make sure the eye's locked in place, and then you see that hook is now locked in place. If you don't lock it in place, the fish will land on it and it will just turn and it won't hook itself. And this is why I use a 1-0 chinu. Literally turn, and then I literally get the chinu in through the top, and that is now held in place. Absolutely perfect. That is what I catch most of my rays. That's what I catch all my rays on as it gets colder. But with this warm weather, rag seems to be doing the do. And then all I'll do with that is, obviously I've got my pulley pennel, and all you do, clip this into your splashdown like so, and that is then a lovely little streamline bait for the rays. Now I'm going to show you how I do my ragworm baits, which is what I've caught both my fish on. Now to show you how I bait up my ragworm on a dongle. Free ragworm. All I do, get my baiting needle, push one through the head. Two through the head. Three through the head. All like that, you see? And then I get my elastic, wherever that is. A little bit of 2 and 8 now. I didn't have everything set up, and I sort of had that bite and lost it. Right, so then all I do, wrap round there like that, bring it all the way down, and then the rest of it, you see the rag, I just fold that over. Normally I'd use a much thinner, sharper baiting needle. However, I seem to have lost it. I don't know where it's gone. You see that? That is now on there, baiting needle like that. And then all I do, get my circle hook, hook it through the rag, like so. Make sure you get all the heads. This is a lot harder than it is normally. Right, and then you can see that I get the dongle beside it. And all I do, I get my elastic and I'll whip that to the actual dongle itself. That's normally a lot easier with the other baiting needle, unfortunately, but like I say, it seems to have gone walkies. Whether I've kicked it somewhere or something, I do not know. I'm pretty certain I'll find it in a minute. As you can see, that is now wrapped to the actual dongle itself. And then all we do, pull that out of there, and you've got a beautiful ragworm bait on the dongle. And that is how I bait my ragworm for rays. Well, I'm just sitting there. The tide is ebbing massively, really hard. round my left-hand rod and looked up, my right-hand rod had gone slack yet again. This is the one with the rag on. Wound into it. Didn't think nothing was there, thought I'd missed it, got it in, and that went absolutely crazy in the surf. £6. Dead on. Look at that. Look at that. What a fish. At distance, on. Go on, get your fin up. At distance on the rag. That is a stonker. £6. Beautiful fish. Absolutely beautiful. That put up a hell of a scrap. Close in, I thought that was a hound to start off with. Wow. What a fish. Come on, mate, get your fin up. Come on. It's not going to work on this one, but that is an absolute stonking bass. Best bass of the year so far. Oh my word. Dongle week for rays, eh? And catch this. That's a nice bycatch. That really, really is. Right, come with me as I put him back. What an absolutely beautiful fish. One last look at that. And away he goes. Oh, gets in. What a bycatch that was. I said £6. Looking at it and looking at my scales, I'm going to go more down to 5.5. It don't look £6, even though the scale said it was. So I'm going to take it down to 5.5 because I've had £6 bass and they're normally a lot more. Then again, it was quite chunky, but I'm still going to go 5.5. But that is still an absolutely awesome bycatch. My mate Stephen's down there. Don't know if you can see him, just wandering around, eating all the little bits of squid I've been throwing on the floor. So we're into the ebb. It was tanking through a little while ago. It seems to have eased up. With it, it's brought a little bit of may rot, which ain't great. But now it's eased up, we might see another ray. I've changed the left-hand rod bait to squid. Whole squid only. Just flicked out a whole squid because the sardines haven't done anything. So just going to try squid on its own. Right-hand rod, I'm sticking with the rag on the dongle. Now, I'm not sure if I've covered ground for rays. For Thornback Rays, really, you need cleanish ground. They love sandy areas, they love shingly areas because they're flat, flappy fish. They like areas they can just sit and hunker onto the bottom. And this, as you can see, the ground out there is just like it is here. It's shingly with little sandy patches. That seagull's just absolutely annoying the hell out of me. He's just running around just trying to grab everything at the minute. They love areas they can just hunker down, and this is perfect for them. Sandy beaches, shingly beaches, flat, muddy clay beaches, absolutely perfect. And hook size for the rays, between 1.0 and 3.0. I like going 3.0 just because of that extra hook hole, but I know a lot of people who fish smaller hook sizes because the rays themselves have fairly small mouths. But they will inhale a 3.0. I haven't bought my shades, sun's out. If I get a migraine, it's my own fault. But yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Came down here for rays. So far I've had 2 and a bass. It's fishing well. You wouldn't afford it on a fairly small tide. Yes, rays, but not with the bass. But that was when the tide was running. So you find the tide, you find the fish. That bass must have just come cruising through with that tide run. Anyway, I'm going to be here till about 1 o'clock. I think, let me just check the time. It's now coming up to 11 o'clock. So I've got 2 hours on this ebb to try and get another ray. It might happen. It might happen. And there's still always the chance here on a day like this with the weather like this of a smooth hound. If I get one, that's another bycatch I wouldn't mind. With the rag on the dongle, they will absolutely annihilate that. But we're here for rays. Let's see if we can get at least one more. No, I'm not quite sure, but that right-hand rod looks like it might have a bite. It seems to have folded over more, and it is going backwards and forwards a lot more than the left-hand one. It might be a bit of weed, Or it might be a fish. That's gone quite a way down tide. It's actually gone quite a way over. Yep, that's a fish. I reckon. Another ray on. Lovely. That didn't give a positive bite. That was literally slowly pulled around. Yeah, that's a ray, I think. Yeah, that's a ray. Or is it? I've lost it. Oh, I think I've lost it, whatever it was. Oh, no. That's not good. Damn it. Oh, no. Right. Okay. Let's get baited up. Let's get this out again. Left-hand rod. Looks like I've got a bite because that just folded right over and then slightly slackened off. That is the one with whole squid. Yeah, that's a fish. It's got to be a fish. This is the one. Oh, don't really want to do that. This is the one with whole squid. Let's see if I've got anything on here. Yes. Fish on. So changing up the whole squid and taking off the sardine has worked. Now this is a much lighter rod than the M4 GT. Much lighter rod, so this is a lot more fun to catch these fish on. I think I might have a fish on the other rod as well. That tide is still hunking through. Come on. Now either this is really heavy, or it's got weed on it, or I'm slightly snagged on something as well. It feels heavy. I don't think it's very big. I think it's just the way the rod is. Where's that line? That line's gone right down tide as well. Where are you? Definitely a ray. I can feel it. Yes, that's a Raymond. Lovely. Where are you? There's a lot of May rock coming through. Sorry, I keep looking up and checking that rod because this is now underneath that. However, where are you? Little baby Raymond. That's actually a bit better one. That is actually a little bit better. Still not massive. Not going to break any records, however. Ray number 3 on the whole squid. Probably about 4, maybe 5 pound. Whole squid. Bottom hook in its mouth. That is another ray. And that, I don't know what that's doing. Let's get this unhooked. Look at that, eh? Beautiful fish. Absolutely beautiful. Right, let's get this one back and get another whole squid out. I knew it'd pick up sooner or later. That whole squid always works. Squid is a hell of a bait for rays. It really is. But look at her. That's a male, actually. Look at him. Nice. Let's get it back. I said I thought that other rod had a bite on it, didn't I? Didn't bother reeling it in because it hadn't actually done anything for a little while. It obviously just sat there. Ray number 4. Little girl. Bit smaller than the others, but it is always a welcome fish. Number 4 ray, that is yet again on the rag. Like I say, right hand rod. It had been moving about, but for about 10 minutes it had just sat there and not done a thing. Reeled in, had this on. Didn't want to turn the camera on because no doubt I'd have ended up losing it or something like that. So there we go. Number 4. Let's go put this back. Come with me. And there she is, ray number 4. And away she goes. Not a bad little session today, is it? That right hand rod has just slackened right off. There's a ray on there. Lovely. I was just getting ready to start packing up then as well. There she is. Beautiful. I might have to have another cast now. There's some weight on this one. That's just sitting on the bottom, hugging the bottom there. It is literally coming up to 12:30. I was going to leave at 1 o'clock. But depending on how this goes, I might have to sit it out. Wasn't expecting that because the tide's now getting further down. That is really hugging on the bottom. At this sort of state of tide, they don't normally feed, to be honest with you. You're talking 3 hours down. If I get this in, it's number 5. And like I say, she feels blooming heavy. I don't think it is though. I don't think it's very big. It's just taking its time to come in. There we go. I do believe it was just literally holding on the bottom. I don't know. Definitely a little bit of weight there. Might even be a plastic bag. Definitely not. It's definitely a fish. Imagine that. All this way for an Asda bag. A bag for life. Where are you? I would say, judging by the weight of this, it's a little bit heavier than the others. Where are you? Can't even move it. Lovely. Happy days. Beautiful. Ray number 5. That's literally just on the edge of the water. I can see that getting dragged back in. No, that's about the same size as the others. The reason that was putting up a bit more of a scrap was because it was a male. Always find the male fish fight harder. Come on. Let's get that hook out. Ooh. And here he is. Squid rod's not done anything. I'm probably going to latch another load of rag on this one. Number 5. Look at that, eh? Beautiful fish. Not a bad day's fishing. Like I say, just looked up, that went slack. They're still on the feed. So I'm definitely going to get another bait out and call that my last cast. Look at that. What a beautiful fish. And that is the end of that. Tried that one more cast after that last ray. And as far as I'm aware, there's nothing on here, nope. But 5 rays and a bass, not bad at all. Not bad at all. And hopefully, if you've ever thought about trying to catch thornback rays and never actually wondered how to get out and do it, hopefully this has given you some tips on how to target them. They're amazing fish. They pull back and they do get quite big. Bristol Channel, places like that, you get the big ones, Holderness Coast. Like I say, round here, early in the year, you get the big ones, and that's just the smaller ones. But good sport, good fun on a hot July day. Pity we couldn't make 6. I'm greedy, I know. However, I would have loved to have caught 6, but 5 is absolutely fantastic in my eyes. That's a hell of a day's fishing. I'm now packing up. I've got stuff to do, so I'm going to go home, chill out, max out, relax. And usual spiel, if you like this video, give it a like. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel to grow. As you can probably see, if you check the numbers, the channel is growing gradually. It's getting there. It's doing very well, to be honest with you. Better than what I thought it would have done this year. Normally takes a little while to get going, and yeah, it's got going quite nicely. So, thank you very much for watching. That was how to catch thornback rays down here at Shingle Street. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you by the water very soon.